Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Wednesday Wisdom on the Educational AD Podcast. We'll be right back with today's Wednesday Wisdom guest, but first we want to acknowledge our podcast partners, the Florida Coaches Coalition, the Global Community of Women in High School Sports, and We Coach. These are three great organizations that you should be a part of, so check them out. And now please stay with us. Don't hit that fast forward button. Take about 3 minutes and listen to our podcast sponsors. We want to say thanks to Final Forms for their support of the podcast. Go to finalforms.com and prepare for your best season ever. They're going to help you eliminate headaches with your stakeholders, with your coaches, and athletic director headaches by connecting you with your parents, helping your coaches with communication and attendance, and helping you with all the reports that come across your desk. To take the next steps and find out all the ways Final Forms can help you, go to finalforms.com/Jake. That's finalforms.com/Jake and get started with Final Forms. We also want to thank Athletic Surveys by LifeTrack. Athletic surveys are a quick, easy, and affordable way for you to collect comprehensive data about your athletic program. As athletic directors, we typically only hear from that 2%, the disgruntled parent or the frustrated student athlete. And we need to hear from that 2%, but we also need to hear from the 98% of our parents and student athletes that really love and support our program. It's a tremendously valuable tool, especially when you're meeting with your boss or your school board or that frustrated parent. Go to athleticsurveys.com and they'll show you how they can create a custom survey for your athletes or your parents. If you've never taken the pulse of your athletic program, you're really missing out. Go to Athletic Surveys and let them help you take your athletic program from good to great. We also want to thank Sideline Interactive indoor scoring tables and video boards. We have an indoor scoring table from Sideline in our gym, and it's just fantastic. We use it for home games, but we also use it for pep rallies, for signing ceremonies. They not only generate income for the department, but they also create the ultimate game day experience for your student athletes. Go to sidelineinteractive.com today and find out how you can get one in your gym. Sidelineinteractive.com. We also want to thank Wall of Fame by Vital Signs. You know, they're on a mission to bring your school's legacy to life. The Wall of Fame is an interactive touchscreen video console that helps showcase your top performers, both past and present, in athletics, academics, and the arts. The Wall of Fame is also an extensive content program that helps you tell more compelling stories that will better engage your audience. Go to vitalsignswalloffame.com, check out their products. When you're ready to purchase, use the link vitalsignswalloffame.com/Jake and get 5% off. That's vitalsignswalloffame.com. We also want to say thanks to Huddle. Go to huddle.com and change the way you see the game. Huddle is going to provide your coaches, your teams, your athletes the tools to help them play at the highest level. It's going to be a complete professional grade solution. Go to huddle.com and see why we believe in sports and teams believe in Huddle. Join the 6 million users and find out how to turn your school into a Huddle school. We also want to say thanks to Snap Mobile. Go to snapraise.com and check out their entire suite of platforms. Snap Store allows you to order custom spirit gear. Snap Manage will help you design a website. Snap Connect is their family engagement platform, and Snap Raise is their fundraising platform that we have used with great success, and so can you. Snap Raise even allows you to get your funding before you actually start your fundraiser. Go to snapraise.com for more information. That's snapraise.com. We also want to say thanks to Hometown Ticketing. Hometown has recently acquired Ticket Spicket, and together they're going to provide you a stronger and more comprehensive digital ticketing solution. But for right now, go to hometownticketing.com. They're not only going to show you how to set up and sell tickets online, but every step of the way, You'll have a dedicated client success manager that's providing hands-on support. That's every step of the way. And hometown ticketing is not just for athletics. You can also sell tickets for school plays, concerts, school dances, even graduation. You'll find it all at hometownticketing.com. Simple and easy online ticketing. And we want to say thanks to Gipper. Go to Gipper.com and see how athletic directors are creating world-class marketing content for their school's social media channels. You can do it in seconds on any device, and you don't need any design experience. Tell them you heard about it on the podcast and use our code ADPOD10 and you'll get 10% off. That's Gipper.com. Create custom content for your school's social media channel. Hey, welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Wednesday Wisdom on the Educational AD Podcast. We've got a new member to the Wednesday Wisdom team. She was recently on the podcast, thought she did a great job. And she's got a tremendous background. It's Dr. Cara Cocchiarella. She is the founder of Win-Win Consulting. She's a very successful author, speaker. In her spare time, she's a professor at Clark College in Vancouver, Washington, and she's the latest member to join our Wednesday Wisdom team. So, Dr. Cocchiarella, welcome to Wednesday Wisdom.
Thank you, Jake. I'm excited to be here. Excited to be part of the crowd and hopefully able to provide something fun to think about.
Well, again, you and I were talking a little bit before we came on. I think you've got a great topic. So I'm going to get out of the way and just ask, what do you have for our listeners on Wednesday Wisdom?
All right. Well, I appreciate the opportunity. And yeah, as we were talking there, Jake, so many different things that we could talk about, partially because the role of an athletic director or a sports leader is so complex. But one thing really stands out, and this kind of came up to me. I met up with some old teammates last weekend, some college teammates of mine, and we were doing kind of the old reunion thing where you say, "Hey, how you doing? Where are you? What are you doing these days?" And I started talking to them about my consulting work that I do. And it was interesting, a lot of old college basketball teammates, again, who are in that sports space. And there was a real assumption when I talked about doing the work that I do with coaches that I was going into basketball clinics and working with coaches around skills and drills and plays. And that is something that I do. But those kind of typical coaches clinics, to me, are good, and at the heart of them, they should be complementing this work that we do with coaches around how to coach, not just what to coach. So I think of those clinics as a place where we talk about the what to coach pieces. Somebody comes in and they just give us some things to do, give us some ideas to take back to our team or adapt for our teams. And when I think about this, it really aligns to me with that analogy of giving a person a fish or versus teaching them how to fish, right? And I think too, there, as a teacher, I remember being really struck by this idea that when somebody asked me, what do I teach? That really the correct response to that should be, I teach students, not that I teach a particular subject. The subject is just the medium. Like in coaching, the sport really is kind of just the medium to working with athletes. And I think when I look at the role of an AD or a sports leader, I think about the fact that ADs are doing this work of leading and supporting coaches, which involves, obviously, as you all know, a lot of administration. But it also involves this coach development piece. And I just really want to encourage and applaud all of the ADs out there for the work that you are doing around how to coach. Because really you're doing that work in a sport culture that is pretty obsessed with what to coach. Sport culture has really become obsessed with X's and O's and strategy and tactics. And you watch any game on TV or any sports show, and we're critically analyzing the the X's and O's and kind of trying to take what I think are really cool sporting opportunities and whittle them down into like a strategic chess match. Um, and we're lucky if the fundamentals of the game come into the conversation. But I think coach development just goes beyond the what and includes the how to coach. And this is something that I've been very lucky to come across in work with the United States Center for Coaching Excellence. The USCCE does a great job in trainings and helping coach developers to further develop their skills in working with coaches on the how to coach skills. I also tend to really weave the how to coach skills into the projects that I do in my consulting work. And just to kind of be a little bit more specific, when I talk about how to coach, this is what I kind of consider to be like the art of coaching or the fundamentals of the job. Things like communication and building relationships and inclusive practices. I think a lot of athletic directors spend time in those areas. And again, just want to really encourage you to do what you can. I think it's probably coaches more than ADs that may tend to devalue some of these how to coach skills, right? So we've got communications, all the interpersonal stuff. I think about helping coaches to develop skills in terms of providing effective feedback and reflecting on their practice and on athlete development. Purposeful planning, whether it's for a practice or a season. Program alignment, aligning their program with the values and mission of a school, and then also making sure that within their program, from their varsity team, maybe down into even middle school programs, that they have got at the high school level, for instance, that they've got some alignment there. So to me, without knowing the how to coach skills, we don't get very far with what to coach. And the what to coach tends to be so easy to find. Just for fun, before this podcast, I Googled best offensive strategies in soccer, just to see outside of my primary sport, which is basketball, what I would come up with. So maybe that's a ridiculous thing to Google, but I just wanted to see what happened. And I came up with, it was 5.3 million hits within less than a half a second. So that information is out there. And I think really it's about doing that more difficult work of laying the foundation and helping coaches to develop those skills of how to coach so that they can add their expertise and they can add the what to coach in there. And I applaud you, ADs, for doing that, for getting coaches to think about and work on how to coach. I think we do a disservice to coaching when we simplify it down to those what to coach pieces without really talking about the art of coaching and doing what I would consider to be like long-term coach development. We're all about long-term athlete development, and I want to encourage us to be about long-term coach development too.
Well, I just love that phrase, the art of coaching. There's so many, X's and O's, for any of the sports. We also talk about, coaching the individual, meshing it with the team. So, there definitely is an art to it. Very cool stuff. Dr. Cocchiarella, Cara, again, we appreciate you sharing with us today. If one of our listeners wanted to reach out, pick your brain a little bit more, or find out, about your website and your book, what's the best way they can get in touch with you?
I would encourage people to go to my website, which is winwin-consulting.com. My email's on there, my phone number's on there. There's a little contact form. There's information about the book that we have, and an online course will be on there shortly for coaches as well. That's associated with the book. So yeah, lots of information. I would love to talk to any ADs about this. This is the stuff that really gets me going, and I get really excited about this work. So yeah, win-win-consulting.com.
Okay, win-win-consulting.com. Speaking of books, you're also doing a book study with Jen Brooks's Global Community of Women. So obviously it's a great book. So listeners, you got a great resource here. Reach out to Cara at her website, which, correct me if I'm wrong, win-win-consulting.com.
That is it. Thanks,
All right.
Jake.
Cara Cocchiarella, thanks again for joining our Wednesday Wisdom team. We are certainly going to be having you back in the future. And all the best with everything with Win-Win and with Clark College.
Thank you very much.
For listeners, we do this every single week, and the Zoom recordings get uploaded to the Educational AD Podcast YouTube channel. We appreciate you listening today. Come back just about every day for new content on the Educational AD Podcast. We'll see you next time. Dr. Cara Cocchiarella, check her out at win-win-consulting.com. Before we go, we do want to acknowledge our sponsors one last time. We only have 8. Every single one of them I've used as an AD or know about firsthand through conversations with hundreds of other ADs that use their product. Big shout out to sidelineinteractive.com, indoor scoring tables. Check them out. Athletic surveys by LifeTrack. If you've never used a survey to take the pulse of your parents or your student athletes, you need to contact Athletic Surveys by LifeTrack. Gipper.com for custom content, promote your school on your social media channel. That's Gipper.com. Hometown Ticketing, digital online ticketing for athletics, for events. Check out hometownticketing.com. If your school is not a huddle school, you need to do something about that. Go to huddle.com. Find out all the tools that they can provide you and your coaches at huddle.com. Snap Mobile is the parent company for a variety of platforms, including Snap Raise, hands down the best fundraising platform out there. Go to snapraise.com to find out more information. Final Forms help your stakeholders, help your coaches, and help you. Go to finalforms.com/Jake and Vital Signs Wall of Fame. Let them help you bring your school's legacy to life. Go to vitalsignswalloffame.com/Jake for more information. Thanks again for tuning in to this episode of Wednesday Wisdom. We'll see you just about every day for new content on the Educational AD Podcast. Thanks for tuning in.